What if every single purchase you made could be approved or denied by a government algorithm? Not in a dystopian movie, right now in 2026. This is already being built. Central banks across the world are quietly rolling out something called a CBDC, a central bank digital currency, and most people have absolutely no idea what that means for their wallet. Here is the simple version. Right now, cash is anonymous. You hand someone a $20 bill. Nobody tracks that. Nobody controls it. A CBDC changes everything. It is digital money issued directly by your government, and it comes with one terrifying feature. It is programmable. Programmable money means the government can decide what you are allowed to buy, when you are allowed to buy it, and how much of it you can have. Think about that. Imagine your paycheck arrives, but you cannot spend it on anything the system flags as unapproved. That is not science fiction. That is the architecture being built right now. Over 130 countries are currently exploring or piloting CBDCs. That is more than 98% of global GDP. The race is already on. China already launched the digital yuan. They have tested it on millions of citizens. And here is the chilling part. The money comes with an expiration date. If you do not spend your digital yuan fast enough, it simply disappears, gone. The government forces you to participate in the economy on their schedule, not yours. Now you might be thinking, okay, that is China. That will never happen here. But let me show you what is already happening in the United States, Europe, and Canada. The Federal Reserve has been quietly running Project Hamilton for years, testing a digital dollar. The European Central Bank is in the advanced pilot phase of the digital euro right now. And Canada's Bank of Canada released a consultation paper asking citizens whether they would accept limits on how much cash they can hold. Let that sink in. Here is why governments want this so badly. Follow the money. Right now, tax evasion costs governments trillions every single year. With a programmable digital currency, every single transaction is visible. Every tip, every private sale, every dollar you earn under the table, all of it, tracked forever. But tax collection is just the beginning. The real power of CBDCs is something called negative interest rates, and this one could destroy your savings. Here is how negative interest rates work. Normally, a bank pays you interest for keeping your money there. Negative rates flip that. The bank charges you just for holding your money. With physical cash, you can escape negative rates by simply withdrawing your money. But with a CBDC, there is nowhere to run. The government controls the only form of money that exists. Sweden already experimented with rates so low, they essentially penalized saving. The Digital Krona project is designed to make that policy impossible to escape. Now let us talk about you, because this affects your retirement savings, your emergency fund, the money sitting in your account right now. Imagine the government decides junk food is too expensive for the healthcare system. In a CBDC world, they simply program your digital dollars so they cannot be spent at fast food chains. Your money, their rules. This is not hypothetical. The Bank for International Settlements, which is basically the central bank of all central banks, has already published papers on exactly this kind of programmable spending control. And the scariest phrase in those papers? They call it smart money. Money that is smart enough to know what you are allowed to do with it. But here's something they do not want you to understand. The war on cash started long before CBDCs. They have been slowly making physical money inconvenient for decades. In 2010, France banned cash transactions over 3,000 euros. In 2016, India eliminated large denomination bills overnight, wiping out savings for millions of poor citizens. In 2021, the EU proposed capping cash payments at 10,000 euros. Each move small, each move presented as fighting crime, but each move pushing you closer to a world where cash simply does not exist. Think of it like a boiling frog. The water gets hotter 1 degree at a time. And by the time you feel the heat, it is already too late to jump out. Now here is the argument governments use to sell you on this. They say CBDCs will make financial systems faster, cheaper, and more inclusive for people without bank accounts. And some of that is true. International transfers that take days and cost a fortune could happen in seconds for pennies. That is genuinely useful. But here is the question nobody is asking. Is the convenience worth surrendering total financial privacy? Is speed worth giving someone else a kill switch on your money? Because that kill switch is real. In 2022, the Canadian government froze the bank accounts of truckers protesting vaccine mandates. no trial, no conviction, accounts frozen overnight. Now imagine that happening in a CBDC world. No bank needed as a middleman. The government just flips a switch. Your money is gone, instantly, permanently, with no appeal. And you do not have to be a protester to be worried. Think about how governments define things like dangerous speech or financial crimes. Those definitions change all the time. Today you might feel totally safe, but tomorrow, a new government, a new definition of what is acceptable, and your digital wallet is the perfect pressure point. So what does this mean for your investments right now? In 2026, there are clear winners and losers in a world moving toward programmable digital money. Let us start with the obvious loser: traditional banks. If the government issues money directly to citizens through CBDCs, what exactly is the point of a bank anymore? Banks make money by sitting between you and your money. CBDCs cut them out entirely. In a fully digital currency world, big bank stocks could be in serious trouble. The second loser: payment processors. Visa, MasterCard, companies that charge merchants 2 to 3% on every single transaction. CBDCs make them obsolete overnight. Now here is where it gets interesting, because CBDCs also create massive winners, and knowing who they are could protect your portfolio. Winner number one: cybersecurity companies. A digital currency system is the most valuable and most targeted financial infrastructure ever built. It needs to be protected at an insane level. Companies specializing in encryption, identity verification, and blockchain security are going to see demand explode as every government races to build their digital currency infrastructure. Winner number two: gold and hard assets. This one surprises people, but think about it. The more governments control digital money, the more people will want something the government cannot touch. Gold has no server to shut down, no expiration date, no programmable restrictions. In a world of total financial surveillance, physical assets become the ultimate freedom. Winner number three: Bitcoin and select cryptocurrencies. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but hear me out. Bitcoin is the only major currency with a hard cap that no government issued. As CBDCs roll out, many financial experts predict a flight to decentralized assets. People who want to exist outside the programmable money system will pay a premium for that freedom. But here is the catch. Governments know this, and they are already moving to regulate or ban private cryptocurrencies. The battle between CBDCs and Bitcoin is the financial war of this decade. China has already banned private crypto. India has taxed it into near uselessness. The EU is implementing strict tracking requirements for every single crypto transaction. So what practical steps can you take right now to protect yourself before this becomes unavoidable? Here are 3 things financial advisors who understand this are actually doing. Step 1. Diversify outside your home currency. Do not keep all your savings in one country's money. Spreading across currencies and assets gives you options governments cannot easily eliminate. Step 2. Own some physical assets. Real estate, precious metals, commodities, things that exist in the real world. Things that have value regardless of what happens to the digital financial system. Step 3. Keep some cash. I know that sounds old-fashioned, but cash is the last anonymous transaction method you have. As long as it is legal, it is a form of financial freedom. And this is not paranoia. In 2023, a survey by the Federal Reserve found that 9% of Americans are completely unbanked. Cashless policies hit the most vulnerable people hardest. Always. Here is something powerful to understand. The push for CBDCs is not just about technology. It is about who controls the definition of money itself. For thousands of years, money was a neutral tool. You earned it, you spent it. Nobody could tell you it was only valid on Tuesdays or only at government-approved stores. A programmable CBDC breaks that fundamental neutrality. Money stops being a tool you control. It becomes a leash, and the person holding the other end is not you. Politicians on both sides of the aisle are starting to pay attention. In the US, multiple states have passed laws banning CBDCs from being used as legal tender. Florida was the first in 2023. But here is the uncomfortable truth. State laws cannot stop federal monetary policy. And the Federal Reserve does not need congressional approval to run experiments with digital dollars. The timeline is moving faster than most people realize. The Atlantic Council tracking tool shows that 134 countries, representing 98% of global GDP, are now in some stage of CBDC development. The Bahamas already launched the world's first fully live CBDC. Jamaica followed. Nigeria launched the e-Naira to 200 million people. This is not coming. It is here. So where does this leave you? The honest answer is this. The financial system is about to go through a transformation bigger than the invention of the credit card, bigger than online banking. The people who understand what is happening right now and position themselves accordingly will be on the right side of history. The people who ignore it will wake up one day with a very different kind of wallet. Financial freedom is not just about how much money you have. It is about how much control over that money you have. And in 2026, that control is being quietly negotiated away. The question you need to ask yourself today is not whether CBDCs are coming. They are. The question is whether you will be ready when they arrive. Share this video with someone who still thinks cash is going away naturally, because nothing about this is natural. Every step has been planned, and now you know.